Hello dear Makita community, and a warm welcome to this new video. It's great to have you back. Today I have a device for you that, to the best of my knowledge, has only been on the market in this form for a short time, and many have undoubtedly been waiting for it. Specifically, on the table today is the new Makita cordless heat gun, the DHG181 in 18-volt format. Let's find out what this compact new device has to offer, whether it's worth it, and for whom an investment might be worthwhile. So let's dive right into it after the intro. But as usual, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel and activate the bell to not miss any future videos. You can find the current prices to support this channel in the video description below. And now let's get started after the intro. It's the first 18-volt cordless heat gun from Makita available in the German market. As always, all information is provided without guarantee. We're talking about the Makita DHG181, a device that most, like myself, have undoubtedly been eagerly anticipating for quite some time. And now the time has come. It's here on the table in front of us, allowing us to take a detailed look at this device in today's video. As you can see, the Makita cordless heat gun DHG181ZK comes in this version in a small practical carrying case, naturally in the turquoise Makita color with the prominent Makita logo on the front. Otherwise, it appears visibly compact and not particularly heavy. Regarding the dimensions of the carrying case, we have measurements of approximately 430 millimeters by 360 by 110 millimeters. That means the entire carrying case is, as mentioned, very compact and can be easily transported and stored. In addition, as you can see, there's a convenient handle on the top. This handle is also contoured slightly, providing a higher grip, although I must say that the entire case is not necessarily heavy. That means it can definitely be transported without difficulty. So let's now take a look inside the carrying case and examine the actual cordless heat gun more closely. There it is, the Makita cordless heat gun DHG181. As you can see, it's a huge case and a tiny device. This means we definitely have plenty of space for additional accessories. For example, on the top left, there's space for the typical Makita charger DC18RC, 2 additional slots for large batteries such as 5 ampere hours, and on the top right, the actual heat gun with all the nozzles. This, in turn, means that you can definitely get this cordless tool as a set, including the tool, 2 batteries, and the charger. I will also link the variants below in the video description. However, please note that this is only the solo version, so the carrying case does not include a battery or charger. Instead, it contains the actual cordless gun, the DHG181, 4 matching nozzles, and, not to forget, the user manual designed for both the Makita DHG180 and the current 181 in front of us. And precisely this part is what we'll now take a closer look at together to see what it has to offer and how it performs. Upon first holding it, you quickly notice that the Makita DHG181 is not the smallest and most compact device on the market. In terms of size, it's comparable to a good mid-range cordless screwdriver, but noticeably lighter. To get a sense of its weight, let's briefly put it on the scale. Let's see what the blower really weighs, starting with the standalone device. As you can see, it has a net weight of only 700 grams. That means the tool is extremely lightweight. And in line with that, a large battery, as I can imagine that the tool will draw a considerable amount of power. Therefore, 18 volts, 5 ampere hours, and we have a gross weight of only 1,300 grams, which is also not much. Due to the low weight and the ergonomic handle, as found in all the other Makita cordless screwdrivers, the heat gun is easy to handle. In my opinion, the handle itself is somewhat narrow, meaning it could be critical for very large hands, as you can see. I already have relatively little space up and down. Nevertheless, for my hands, the handle is still quite comfortable, and as you can see, everything here in black has a corresponding rubberized coating, making it very non-slip. Directly above, you'll find the most important controls of the cordless heat gun. This includes, logically, the trigger for activation, as well as another small button directly behind it. Initially, I thought this was the release button, but that's not the case. Upon closer inspection, you can see that the trigger has a novel, perhaps somewhat unconventional, release mechanism. After some testing, I must say I find this type of release mechanism quite pleasant. That means you don't need another finger or the like to release it. It happens automatically when you press the trigger from above, simultaneously unlocking the mechanism. Not to forget, right behind it is this small black button. This is used to lock the blower, meaning a brief press of this button locks the blower permanently in one position. In this regard, it must be noted that the button is only located on the left side, and there's no button for locking on the right side. That means all left-handed individuals might encounter some difficulties with this. Let's continue on the underside of the device. Here, as evident, is the battery compartment for the 18-volt batteries. In this regard, it should be mentioned that the heat gun only operates with 18-volt batteries. As mentioned earlier, I suspect that the device will draw a significant amount of power given the temperatures it generates. Therefore, it's recommended to use a large 18-volt battery, for example, with 5 or 6 ampere hours. This is simply inserted from the front into the battery compartment and securely clicks into place. To enable work in dark, confined spaces, there's a built-in LED at the base of the machine. It's a regular LED, nothing special, no dual LED or the like. I'd say let's see what this small mini LED has to offer in terms of light output. For this, we briefly turn off the studio light, and now I would activate the heat gun here. And this is how it looks in the dark, as predicted. The small LED naturally provides some light in the dark, but is this light output rather meager? Yes, I have to say a dual LED would have definitely been better here, but at least it has an afterglow function. The next control element of the Makita DHG181 is located just above it, also positioned at the base. As evident, there's a small black switch with exactly 2 positions. It concerns the airflow regulation. Regarding the trigger, the Makita cordless heat gun only has an on-off switch, meaning we cannot regulate the airflow here. This is done through this small sliding switch with 2 positions. The heat gun achieves a maximum of 120 liters per minute in the first stage and a maximum of 200 liters per minute in the second stage. Compared to a corded gun, 200 liters per minute might not be much, but I would say let's wait and see how the blower performs in practical tests. Connected to this, I would suggest we briefly conduct a sound check to see how many decibels this small blower produces in both stage 1 and stage 2. Let's start with stage number 1 at a distance of about 1 meter. As you can see, in stage number 1, the blower produces a sound emission of around 57 decibels. So let's repeat the process in stage number 2. And as you could observe, stage number 2 comes with approximately 10 decibels more, reaching a maximum of around 67 decibels, which is admittedly quite quiet. Moving on to the heart of the cordless heat gun, clearly located at the head of the machine where both the motor and the heating elements are housed. As you can see, the entire cordless heat gun is relatively short in terms of length. Specifically, the overall length is around 170 millimeters, even though both the heating elements and the regular brush motor are housed here. The temperature control, again, is done through a small dial on the back. As you can see, it's marked with both plus and minus signs and several numbers. The Makita DHG181 has a total of 6 stages, and I must say that the dial itself can be easily adjusted and is quite precise. In stage number 1, the cordless heat gun circulates the ambient air temperature or the ambient air completely unheated. This mode could be used, for example, to cool down the nozzles or surfaces. Stages number 2 to 6, on the other hand, generate significant heat, with the cordless heat gun reaching temperatures of up to a maximum of 550 degrees. With these high temperatures, it should be effortlessly possible to soften any plastics and bend them, or remove stickers, etc. By the way, since we're already discussing applications, here are a few words about the included nozzles. Specifically, 4 of these nozzles come in the package. This includes, among other things, a reduction nozzle, which narrows the airflow, a reflector nozzle for softening and bending plastic pipes, a glass protector nozzle useful for removing putty from windows, and a wide slot nozzle. The assembly for all nozzles is completely identical. The nozzle is simply attached to the front of the cordless heat gun and is thus mounted, and it should not fall off by itself. On the other hand, changing the nozzles might be somewhat cumbersome. Once I've used the device for a while and the nozzle's also around 550 degrees hot, I naturally don't want to touch it by hand or with gloves. That's why there's a black ring right behind it, allowing for easy removal of the nozzles. I must say, the mechanism for detaching the nozzles works quite well, very smooth, with no hooks or the like, and since the nozzles do not lock in this sense, there should be no problems with jamming. How hot the machine gets during use and whether it can still be touched easily will be shown in the test. Finally, to mention, at the back of the blower, there's still a small metal hook, allowing the device to be stored effectively if you don't want to use the carrying case. In this regard, I find the mechanism very practical and space-saving as well, as it would be challenging to store or hang the blower without it. That's why we find a small release button next to it. When pressed, the hook pops out and we can hang the blower conveniently. Alright, so we have now thoroughly examined the new Makita cordless heat gun, the DHG181 in theory, and now it's time for the test. Let's see if it really lives up to its promises. So sit back, let's get started with the practical test. Let's see what the new Makita cordless heat gun DHG181 really has to offer. I used a large 5 ampere-hour battery, which I'd fully charged in advance. I hope that should last the device for a while. Furthermore, I used the cordless heat gun at the highest power level, number 6, and speed level number 2, as indicated at the base of the device. In addition to this, I used the 4 included attachments, such as the reduction nozzle, protective nozzle, wide slot nozzle, and reflector nozzle. In the test, I tried to address all 4 nozzles, but more on that in a moment. Regarding the test materials, I opted for a plastic pipe in conjunction with the reflector nozzle, a small wooden board which I'm not entirely sure will be used, a small paint tray with already cured paint, a few stickers, and an infrared thermometer for temperature measurement. With that, I would say let's start with the temperature measurement. For this, I let the heat gun run at a maximum level and tried to measure the temperature. Admittedly, I'd envisioned this to be much easier in theory. The problem with the affordable infrared thermometer, it's only partially possible to hit such a small spot accurately. Additionally, the laser point does not precisely reflect the spot to be measured. In summary, it can be said that the measurement with the infrared thermometer is irrelevant and did not yield a clear result. Therefore, I will not pursue this approach further. For this reason, I focused only on real application areas, starting with the reflector nozzle and the plastic pipe. After just a few seconds at level number 3, the plastic pipe became slightly flexible and could be deformed. Recommended, however, for such thick material, in my opinion, is rather level number 4. With this, I could heat the plastic quickly and bend it much more easily, as you can see in the video. On the other hand, if someone struggles with this device, they can easily remove the attachment and heat the object from all sides by rotating it quickly and then bending it. For the next application area, I chose the paint tray in conjunction with the mounted flat nozzle. As before, I tried to remove the already cured paint with the heat gun and a screwdriver at the medium level. As you can see, this procedure worked without difficulty and the paint easily came off after heating. Another typical application for a heat gun, of course, is the removal of stickers. For this purpose, I grabbed 2 workbooks from the workshop and freed them from annoying stickers. In this case, I also chose to use the flat nozzle and the medium power levels 3 to 4. This should allow for easy removal without immediate melting. As you can see, the removal of the stickers after heating was swift and in one piece. Moreover, there were no residues or adhesive remnants left on the workbooks. All in all, I can summarize that the practical test was undoubtedly a great success. The new Makita 18-volt cordless heat gun DHG181, in my opinion, is definitely impressive and should be a valuable addition to any workshop. Whether for heat shrinking tubes, removing paint, varnish, or stickers, deforming plastic pipes, and so on, the range of applications is very diverse. With a temperature range of up to 550 degrees, most applications can be covered. However, for longer work, it's advisable to pack at least a second large battery because, as one might expect, the device is quite power hungry. After the short practical test, it had already depleted the large 5 Ah battery by half. Now it's your turn. What do you think about this new Makita cordless heat gun? Feel free to share your opinion in the comments below. I'm always very eager to hear your feedback. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please show your support with a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for free and activate the notification bell to never miss a new video. You can find the current prices as usual in the video description below. Thank you very, very much for your support, and with that, I would say take care and see you next time. Stay healthy and goodbye.